Welcome to our program. We're in the Cowichan Valley and we're being treated. We're at rehearsal with Dave Lieferts and Cari Burdett, and we have some exquisite and dramatic gypsy cabaret music for you today. Thanks for joining us on Go Island. On today's show, high schoolers create high-tech equipment. Protein diets get a boost from insects. Cari Burdett sings sultry cabaret music. All that and more on Go Island. Cari Burdett has been singing for many years and is about to release her debut album. She has embraced several languages and has a passion for travel, the global community, family, home, and gypsy roots. Here she sings a Swedish folk song. You have a lot of parts to you, from traveling, from music, theater, dance. You've done so much in your life. This to me feels like a really big summary of all of that.
Yeah, gypsy cabaret, dramatic gypsy cabaret, it's a culmination of my passions and my love for music. I trained in opera school at McGill and at the Royal Academy of Music in London, England. And when you study opera, you learn languages, Italian, French, German. I was really fond of Russian as well. And so that's the dramatic. And the gypsy has to do with the countries I've traveled in, and I've lived in Sweden, and I fell in love with the language there too. And the cabaret has to do with the taverns in Paris and where the music comes from, and bringing people together. So I'm a true believer in collaboration and a mixing of genres. So cabaret for me was a great way of bringing in a contemporary music, truly opera classics, as well as modern music with the composers that I've studied with, and people have written music for me.
So you're fresh from a tour for your new CD, Magnolia, which also features some quite incredible musicians. Tell us about it.
Oh, it was such a thrill to work with these musicians. Miles Black on the piano, Richard Moody on the violin. We had Kelby McNear on percussion, Sean Drabbett on the bass, and Mark Atkinson on guitar. And it was thrilling. They brought so much life and grounding for me. I could just settle into the music, and yet everything felt fresh.
So along the way, Cari, I know you have also had to become your own marketing person. In many ways, a lot of people are selling their own material now, and you're right in the midst of an Indiegogo campaign. So how's that going for you? And what are the benefits to people ordering online? Singing lessons and all kinds of wonderful treats could come their way?
There's a whole new world online where we have to be our own creator of finding ways of making things happen. And making a CD is huge expense, and we all work together. So I really enjoy giving other people support in their campaigns, and I'm hoping that people will be inspired to donate to the finishing of the CD. And what's really exciting about the crowdfunding is that you get exchanges for offering things, so you can have a download version, or the actual CD, or a singing lesson, or a live concert, or a workshop.
Lovely ideas. Yeah, it's almost like hiring.
Yeah, and it's a win-win situation.
Now, you have great respect for a lot of musicians and composers and writers, and Anne Schaefer is one of them. We're going into an Anne Schaefer tune. Can you tell me about it?
Loveliness is from her CD, The Waiting Room, and Anne Schaefer has been a fantastic mentor, has brought me a lot of support and inspiration for this project. She's perfecto. Now we have also Dave Lieferts, who will accompany you next on Loveliness. Tell me about the background for that song. Loveliness is it's a heartbreaking song. It talks about refinding your love in a relationship that you've been in for a long time, where the love feels like it's gone away and it comes back. And Dave has been a great support for the last 2-3 years, and especially in this project, helping me prepare for the project and performing with me also. Feed me your charms and love again.
exquisite music coming up later in the program. But first, high school students help create high-tech farm equipment to assist in the Mason Street Farms aquaponics program. That story is next from Kevin Chubak. When we come back, picking a hygiene product can sometimes be really daunting. There are so many name brands and options on the shelves. Well, what if you decided to just ditch all of them and go with something a lot more natural? Raji Kabli has that story after our break.
Clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds, illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all.
So that was a different take on a Joni Mitchell tune for sure. Really exciting to watch though, and you and Dave Leifertz performed it now, but who was involved in the rearranging?
Well, I have to give mention to Joby Baker, the producer of the album, and saying, you know, if we're going to do classic tunes, we're going to turn them on upside down and offer something new, and Miles Black was the arranger for that tune. He did a great job.
Very cool. So the CD Magnolia has a lot of Canadian content. Yeah,
it has more than half Canadian content, composers from Victoria, as well as that classic Joni Mitchell tune.
The Winter Solstice concert last year was so popular. It's coming up this year on December 20th. Tell us all about the concert. Who's involved?
We're excited to have a rich, dynamic group of musicians collaborating with us this year. We're going to have again, some acoustic pieces and classic Christmas carols, and as well as international music.
And who are some of the other performers that will be involved?
Well, my dear friend and partner of voice, Sarah Marie Roche, will be joining me on stage. We have Adrian Dolan joining us on piano, accordion. We have Richard Moody on violin. We have Corbin Keep on the cello. We have Alex Rempel on bass, and then we have this year again 2 dancers, Marissa and Hillary. Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto, me han dado dos luceros que cuando los abro, perfecto distingo lo negro del blanco. Y en el alto cielo su fondo estrellado.
More music is coming up, but first we're going to take a quick break. And after the break, you won't believe it. It's a Dan Kahn story. There was a lady who swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die, but maybe she won't, because she'll realize that bugs will actually soon be required to feed the world. Dan Kahn wanted to sink his teeth into the story about eating insects after our break. You can actually sample and learn more about insects being used as protein foods this coming Wednesday, 7 to 9, at the Lansdowne campus of Camosun College. It's called Pestival.
La potenza della lirica, dove ogni dramma è un falso, che con un po' di trucco e con la mimica puoi diventare un altro. Ma 2 occhi che ti guardano così vicini e veri ti fanno scordare le parole e confondono I pensieri.
Such passion in this gypsy cabaret music. Tell us about Caruso.
Caruso has to do with the passion of the heart, and I'm wishing you well. Te voglio bene. It's a classic Italian tune, and it's, for me, the line through the whole CD has to do with the vulnerability of love.
You really were performing in character in that song, and in so many of your songs. You live it and you breathe it. Is it opera training that gives you that sense?
It has to do with connecting to the truth. I mean, these songs are big, you know, hence the dramatic. And when you're on stage singing opera, you're singing with a full orchestra, and you're huge, filling a huge stage. So it perhaps has to do with opera training, but for me it has to do with living the truth in my heart. Mm-hmm.
Tell us about, again, the CD, Magnolia. Who's performing on the CD with you?
That was the time of my life in the studio, Joby Baker's studio. So he played percussion and bass. And we had Miles Black on the piano, Richard Moody on the violin, and we had Adrian Dolan there bringing in violin, piano, all sorts of, an accordion. And Quinn Bachon was with us on guitar, and he's a real character and a lot of fun to play with. And
he's just been awarded so much in the last 2 years, so lucky you for snagging him in between all his other work.
I think it was a true synchronicity of the stars, that they all were free in the times we recorded.
Cari, what a perfect way to end our program with a tune that was composed especially for you.
Yes, Toy is composed by Anna Hustman, a Victoria composer, with poetry by E.D. Blodgett. He won a Governor General Award for this poem. Shades of naked branches fall across the walls. When the wind blows crippled and black, the lines shiver against the white.
That's our program. Thanks for being with us. And don't miss the Winter Solstice Concert with Cari Burdett and other fabulous musicians here at the Christian Reformed Church on Saturday, December 20th. And the church is located on Trunk Road in Duncan. See you next time.
Women's clothing provided by Tulip Noir, casual designer fashions. Men's wardrobe by DG Bremner & Co. Menswear and accessories. Hair services provided by Salon J.